Day 18, Psalm 83, a song or a psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and as Zalmunna, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, art the most high over all the earth. Psalm 84, to the chief musician upon Gittith, a psalm for the sons of Korah. How amiable are thy tabernacles, O Lord of hosts! My soul longeth, yea, even fainteth, for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh crieth out for the living God. Yea, the sparrow hath found an house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young. Even thine altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. Blessed are they that dwell in thy house. They will be still praising thee, Selah. Blessed is the man whose strength is in thee, in whose heart are the ways of them who passing through the valley of Baca make it a well. The rain also filleth the pools. They go down from strength to strength. Every one of them in Zion appeareth before God. O Lord of hosts, hear my prayer. Give ear, O God of Jacob. Selah. Behold, O God, our shield, and look upon the face of thine anointed. For a day in thy court is better than 1,000. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than to dwell in the tent of wickedness. For the Lord God is a sun and a shield. The Lord will give grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the man that trusteth in thee. Psalm 85. To the chief musician, a psalm for the sons of Korah. Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people. Thou hast covered all their sin. Selah. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thine anger. Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw out thine anger to all generations? Wilt thou not revive us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee? Show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. I will hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace unto his people and to his saints. But let them not turn again to folly. Surely his salvation is nigh them that fear him, that glory may dwell in our land. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Yea, the Lord shall give that which is good. Our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. Psalm 86, a prayer of David. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice, the soul of thy servant. For unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all that call upon thee. Give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplications. In the day that my trouble, verse 7, in the day of my trouble, I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. Among the gods there is none like unto thee, O Lord. Neither are there any works like unto thy works. All nations whom thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Lord, and shall glorify thy name. For thou art great, and doest wondrous things. Thou art God alone. Teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. I will praise thee, O Lord, my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify thy name forevermore. For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. O God, the proud are risen against me, and the assemblies of violent men have sought after my soul, and have not set thee before them. But thou, O Lord, art a God full of compassion and gracious, long-suffering and plenteous in mercy and truth. O turn unto me, and have mercy upon me. Give thy strength unto thy servant, and save the son of thine handmaid. Show me a token for good, that they which hate me may see it and be ashamed, because thou, Lord, hast helped me and comforted me. Psalm 87, a psalm or a song for the sons of Korah. His foundation is in the holy mountains. The Lord loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of God, Selah. I will make mention of Rahab in Babylon to them that know me. Behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia. This man was born there. And of Zion it shall be said, this and that man was born in her. And the highest himself shall establish her. The Lord shall count when he writeth up the people, that this man was born there. As well as the singers, as the players on instruments shall be there. All my springs are in thee. Proverbs 18. Through desire, a man, having separated himself, seeketh and intermeddleth with wisdom, with all wisdom. A fool hath no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. When the wicked cometh, then cometh also contempt, and with ignominy reproach. The words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook. It is not good to accept the person of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. A fool's mouth is hurt. Verse 7. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. He also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth to it and is safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as an high wall in his own conceit. Before destruction the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. The lot causeth contentions to cease, and parteth between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. The poor useth entreaties, but the rich answereth roughly. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. So I just wanted to point out a couple things on the today's reading. Of course, that last sentence, there's a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. That is Jesus. I mean, each verse is wisdom, so should be studied deeply, each verse, but it seems like it was talking mostly about the words that we speak, and so eating the fruit of the words that we speak. But going back to the Psalms, Psalm 86, a prayer of David. I've always debated how to pray. I had a friend. I mean, we call them friends, but they're not really friends. I don't actually think that you can find friends, and this is going to be something that people will hear and think that I'm just crazy. But friends are not friends. There's only one friend, in my opinion, and that's Jesus. Everyone else is out for their own selves. And that's first and foremost. Then the second thing out of Psalm 86 is what I've debated for many, many years, until I kind of figured out that I couldn't even trust my own heart. So if I can't trust my own heart, then I can't have really friends, because then I'd have to trust something about them. And if I can't even trust my own heart, then I'm in trouble. And that is based on Romans chapter 8. And so what I discovered is that when I was praying, and I was talking about this with a so-called friend who wasn't, and he's like, oh, my heart is good, and I know what my heart, God knows my heart, and people think that God is happy with their heart, and that they have a good heart, and that they're a good person. And the truth is that they're not good. There's none good, not even one. And so I was talking to him, and he just kept going on and on and on, how because he was living, I was talking to him. He asked me, that's the only reason, his name is Jamie. He asked me, he said, hey, I'm getting older, and how did you find your wife? And I kind of told him, I said, well, I found my wife because I didn't focus on finding a wife. I focused on praying, on reading my Bible, I focused on the Lord. And he says, well, I've been doing that for years, and I can't find a wife. And I said, okay, how do you do that? So he says, well, I'm part of the worship team at church, and I run the music department at this church and then at this other church. I'm like, do you get paid for that? And he says, yeah, it's my job. That's what I do. And I'm like, okay, what else do you do? And he says, well, I play at bars. And I'm like, you go to bars, like people drinking and stuff, and you're like the music guy that plays? And he says, yeah. I'm like, okay. And how do you think that you can play at the bar during the week, and go to church and be part of the worship team and lead worship at church? And he says, well, because the Lord set us free, and we can kind of do according to our conscience. And I said, so you can sin the whole week and then go to church on Sunday and ask for repentance and you're good. And he says, yeah, kind of like that. I'm like, okay, do you have like a girlfriend? And he says, I just broke up with my girlfriend. And I said, okay, why did you break up? Well, this and that. And he started talking about, that they were living together. And I said, why are you living together with a woman that is not your wife? And he says, well, so that I can know what it's going to be if I marry her. And I'm like, there's your problem right there, is that you are attracting women that are fornicators, women that are not pure, because you are not pure yourself. And then he started to debate me about that. Oh, you don't have to do that. That is an antiquated view. That is an old-time view, or whatever. I said, look, you asked me how I found my wife. And so I'm just kind of seeing things that you're doing that I never did myself. I wasn't doing that. And all of a sudden, when I wasn't doing that, a godly woman paid attention to me because I wasn't behaving that way. And he says, so I have to be like perfect to find a wife? I said, yes, you do. He says, no one is perfect. You're not perfect. I'm like, no, but Jesus is, and you're not living like that. So he debated me for like 3 hours about this. Finally, I just said, you asked me this question and you keep debating everything that I say. And I said, the problem is that you trust your own heart. And I don't even think that you know how to pray. And he says, well, yes, I do pray, because when I go and worship and I take people into the presence of the Lord cleanses us in his presence. I'm like, so you summon the spirits and then you get some sort of atonement? And he says, yeah. I'm like, that is paganism. Where'd you get this from? He says, well, I just kind of picked it up at church because I'm a worship leader. I'm like, but you're also leading people into sin at the bars. I'm like, what kind of songs do you sing at the bars? He says, all the classics, Stairway to Heaven. All of the stuff, rock, I'm like, man, you are in deep delusion, brother. This is kind of crazy. And I'm like, look, I'm going to tell you plainly, you don't know how to pray. And until you know how to pray, you won't know anything. And so he's like, okay, how do I pray? And then I told him this about this Psalm 86. I said, the only thing, that's what I discovered. So I just kind of told him what I discovered is my prayers were selfish. My prayers came from my own thoughts. They used to come from my own understanding. And that's what it meant to lean not on my own understanding. Everything that came to my heart and to my head, I would pray about. And then one day I discovered not to do that. And so I'm like, okay, who are the people that know how to pray the best? And I'm like, well, the Bible, the people in the pages of the Bible. And I just went for the people that are kind of like the most significant, where most of their prayers are recorded. And that is David, Moses, Solomon, and of course, some of the compilation of the disciples. And then when Jesus is being called upon, a lot of these things are repeated. So that is what Psalm 86, I came to understand this. And I just made up my mind to pray the prayers of these people, starting with David, Moses, and so forth, like I said. And I just started praying their prayers so that I could retrain myself to stop being selfish and pray for things that I wanted. And instead of that, just kind of praying righteousness. And so then I started praying the David prayers, and I would just kind of train myself to only pray according to what they pray about, because they're repeated in the New Testament. So look at verse 1. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me, for I am poor and needy. But he was not poor, he was the king, right? And so this is him being in distress. Verse 3, be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Give ear, verse 6, give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplications. Verse 7, in the day of trouble I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. Verse 11, look at this one. Teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. And that's what my friend lacked. He didn't have a fear of God. He thought he could live with his girlfriend, go to the bar, lead people into sin at the bar, and then pretend that he was leading people into the presence of the Lord at church on Sunday, because he had no fear of God. So I recommended for him to pray the Psalms. I said, just devote yourself to praying the Psalms. That's what healed my heart. And I think it can heal your heart as well. And it gave me understanding. And it gave me the fear of the Lord, which is what I lacked. Because as the Bible says, by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. He didn't have the fear. And then you go through the Psalms, and you will find that there's so many Psalms that say things like, have mercy upon me, O Lord. And that's what they cried. They repeated those prayers when they saw Jesus. Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And then another verse says, a sinner, when he's beating his breast, right? So if we just learn how these people in the Bible prayed, it will do wonders for our prayer life, for our daily life, for our daily Bible reading. And forget our own prayers. We don't know how to pray, Romans 8 says. We really don't. So don't pray your own thoughts. Pray the words of the Bible, the words of the Lord. That is the prayer. Start doing that, and you will train yourself, or the Word will train you how to pray. And then from there, you'll get used to praying like David did, like all these great men in the Bible prayed. And then your prayer life is going to be changed forever. As in the case of me, I don't pray really hardly ever things that I don't read in the Bible. I just kind of see the distress of David at certain points. And I just go and I'm like, okay, I remember how David prayed in this situation. So I follow how they did it. But most of the time, as I'm reading, I am praying. So I think that that's a great lesson for us, little babes that we are, little children, that we don't know anything, how to be trained into how these men were trained and how they used to pray. And then we will be trained in the fear of the Lord so that we can depart from evil and commit our way unto the Lord. And then he will give us the desires of our heart. See how that works? We'll see you guys tomorrow.